LEGO has decided to launch a new subtheme within its LEGO architecture range, featuring postcard-style builds, and honestly, I am really impressed with how it turned out. So let's take a look at the first set in the series, Paris, City of Love. My first impressions are very positive, as the set looks fantastic. You still get microscale recreation of iconic landmarks, but instead of traditional black display base, it has been replaced with a clean white frame that gives the entire model the appearance of a framed postcard, making it feel more compact and stylish. The frame itself is nicely built, using simple white tiles and bricks, with no advanced techniques involved. We also still get a printed tile on the front, and thankfully, there are no stickers included in this set. However, some people might find it a little disappointing that the tile doesn't actually say Paris and instead reads City of Love. Personally, I find that slightly annoying, and a swappable tile option would have been appreciated. I may end up replacing it with a standard white tile instead. The plain white frame surrounding the landmarks is surprisingly effective, contrasting beautifully with the darker tones of the buildings and skyline. The slightly angled sides, created using slopes, add a nice sense of depth to the overall design. Around the back, there is even a hanging element, allowing the model to be displayed on a wall if desired. If future sets follow a similar design philosophy, they could make for some really attractive wall decorations. Now, let's move on to the landmarks themselves, because this is where the set truly shines. The dark blue night sky works exceptionally well and is decorated with several star elements that give the build a charming nighttime atmosphere. Moving towards the landmarks, there is also some clever use of layering. The foreground structures are built using lighter tan colors, while darker tones are used for further back, creating a convincing sense of perspective that works remarkably well at this scale. The landmarks themselves are instantly recognizable, featuring some of the true highlights of Paris. On the right sits Notre-Dame Cathedral. If you own the full-size LEGO Architecture Notre-Dame de Paris set, it is interesting to compare the two side by side, as the scale reduction has been handled very successfully, while still keeping the cathedral recognizable. One design choice I found a little questionable was the use of a 10th car rim piece for the rose window, especially since the set includes 7 extra copies of that part that aren't used anywhere else. Behind Notre Dame, you can see the iconic Montmartre Hill with Sacré-Cœur Basilica. The use of light and dark gray tones works brilliantly to create the illusion that the buildings are far away in the distance. On the left, the Louvre pyramid is represented through clever 2D interpretation of the famous glass pyramid, and it works surprisingly well. The design uses several transparent elements attached to a wedge plate rotated at a 45-degree angle, creating an elegant illusion of depth despite the compact scale. Behind it stands the main building of the Louvre, with the Arc de Triomphe further in the background, rendered in dark tan to enhance the impression of distance. The centerpiece of the build, of course, is the Eiffel Tower itself. At the moment, this is actually the first LEGO Eiffel Tower in my collection, although I hope to own the massive full-size version someday as well. Despite its small scale here, the model still incorporates several clever building techniques, and to my surprise, the tower translates exceptionally well into microscale form. This set is priced at around $80 or €80 or 70 British pounds and includes 958 pieces, which might initially feel a bit steep. A slightly lower price would probably seem more justified, but to my surprise, the set is actually larger than I expected. Unfortunately, there are no minifigures included, even though 1 or 2 would have been a nice addition. Just to be clear, this video is not sponsored by the LEGO Group. However, if you are thinking about picking up any LEGO sets from the LEGO website, or honestly buying anything from Amazon, I would really appreciate it if you use the affiliate links in the description. It's a small gesture, but it genuinely helps support the channel and allows me to keep creating content like this, so thank you in advance. Inside the box, you get a single instruction manual. Right from the start, you are greeted with some information about Paris, which adds a nice touch to the overall presentation. As for the building process, it was really interesting to discover that for the most of the builds, you are actually constructing the model flat on the table, layering sections and attaching blocks that form the landmarks and surrounding details. It is only towards the end, when adding the black finishing elements, which I believe are meant to represent trees, along with the upper section of the tower, that the model is finally turned upright. To my surprise, I have never been a huge fan of LEGO's classic landmark sets, but this one, along with the upcoming New York release, is genuinely appealing to me. It definitely makes me curious about which other cities might follow in the future. I think this could make a really nice souvenir for someone visiting Paris. If you are visiting from Europe, it is an ideal set to build during a flight or train journey back home. It took me less than 2 hours to complete, and overall, I would definitely recommend picking this one up. And as always, if you enjoyed this review and want to see more LEGO content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and consider using the affiliate links when picking up any brick build models. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, happy building!